Leo, welcome to your July 2018, what is this? General tarot reading. I almost said love reading, I almost said astro update. But it's actually a general tarot reading, because I do those as well. It's Raina here. And yeah, so I think that's about all I needed to say. So I'm just putting these little piles into things. Okay, I don't know. Trying to figure out where the center is. I'm trying to center myself. And then the last card I'm going to pick by, ta-da! So when I get a 3 of Swords, I go, okay, well I'm leaving it on the Devil. I'm sorry, you're going to have to end on that note, the Devil. No, you're not going to be possessed by Satan in July, Leo. That's not what the Devil card represents. Okay. So, the heart of the matter is the Queen of Swords. And we do have another couple of Swords cards, both dramatic cards. 10 of Swords, card of betrayal, and the 3 of Swords, a card of heartbreak. So, in July, you're trying to steel yourself up for something that has to do with, maybe it's making a decision about something, or just processing an experience that is a little bit difficult. Actually, at the end of July, when we have our pair of eclipses, there's going to be an eclipse in Aquarius, and this is your opposite sign. So this is the seventh house of committed partnerships. So this could be a relationship issue that, unless it's like a partner, like a business partner, who screws you over in some way. This could be like you having to kind of marshal your forces to make a decision, or just to be able to deal with the matter at hand as it is without your emotions getting in the way. What crosses you is the King of Pentacles. This can be the person who you feel betrayed by. Kings can be bosses, so this may be a situation where you feel this sense of like that you were promised something that you didn't get, and that is bothering you. The head of the business, and it could be the father of your child. It can be a situation where you just got your hopes up about something and somebody let you down big time. And so you have to decide what to do. This, you know, I'm recording this almost, you know, July is almost here. So this may be something you're dealing with right now in some cases. Sometimes I feel like I'm like right next to the train, where it's like right in my backyard, and that's not true, but it's like, even with the windows closed, it feels like right there sometimes. The Foundation card, which can be talking about the past, is represented by the Ace of Cups. So there can be this new love that has come into your life. It could be a new offer. So you may be like, there may be like a situation with a boss. You're like kind of, the person may be even offering you more money, but your heart is in this other place. And so you're like kind of like conflicted about which choice to make. But if this is a relationship, it's possible that the King of Pentacles is an earth sign person, or a very strong earth component, who is someone that you were with, and now you have another person that perhaps you were like with this person because they had a lot of money, or or they were successful, and really this other person is more of a heartfelt love. And the same thing applies for a work situation. Perhaps you were working someplace okay, I don't know, I'm hearing some rap music in the background. Perhaps you were working someplace where there was a lot of financial gain to be had, but it didn't really fulfill you, and now you have this potential job, and it may even be the type of job, like maybe it's the healing arts or something like that, and it's much more your cup of tea. And so you're kind of like in this the horns of a dilemma, as they call it. But I think you're really like trying to make the right decision based upon your head versus your heart. Now, I don't know if that's where it's really at, because with the Ace of Cups, it's like your heart chakra is getting stirred. And maybe you've kind of been putting that on ice lately. And perhaps you were trying to be too pragmatic about your life. There's that saying, I can fall in love with a rich man as easy as a poor man. I mean, that sounds pretty cynical to me. But there's some, it's really weird, because it's one of those things where a lot of people might say, yeah, that's right. But if you found yourself in a situation with somebody who made a lot of money, and you realize that that's not enough, I know it's a cliche, but money can't buy you love, and you realize that it's, Leo is very romantic, and so it's going to leave you empty. And even with career matters, you're a very ambitious and hardworking person, but you have to feel passionate about what you're doing. And this kind of an offer can make you feel much more in tune with what you're doing. At some point, the money isn't going to matter as much. The higher message is represented by the hangman. So even though the Queen of Swords, someone might write to me and say, I think you're confusing the Queen of Swords with the Two of Swords. That's really the person who's trying to make a decision. Well, as I go along doing readings, I am starting to incorporate more and more of my own intuition, thoughts that come into my head, whatever you want to call it, and not just going verbatim about what the cards mean. And so my feeling with the hangman as a spiritual position or spiritual message is that it's likely that you have done everything you can do regarding the situation, whatever it is. And it may not have to do with love. It may not have to do with business. It may be another area of your life where, for instance, maybe you want children and your partner doesn't, and you feel this sense of, and you are pregnant anyway. Maybe you just didn't use protection, and the other person didn't, is against the pregnancy, and you have to decide what you're going to do in that situation. I mean, there are all kinds of permutations about what this could be. Now, the hangman is saying, let go and let God, that now is the time to surrender to whatever's going on, that you can't just think yourself out of this. You can't just do yourself out of this. Sometimes you have to just allow the universe to do its magic, if you've done your part and what you can really do. The practical thing that you can do here is represented by the Ten of Swords. This is about understanding, first and foremost, if somebody in your life has, in fact, betrayed you. Maybe you're in denial about someone, the King of Pentacles. Maybe that person really did screw you over, and yet you're afraid to leave that company because you're a Leo and you're a fixed sign and you don't like change or something. I mean, that could be one possibility. Or you just feel a sense of loyalty that is misplaced, misguided. So that's a possibility. If you're in a personal relationship, you may have met somebody new who you really feel is the love of your life, but this King of Pentacles person, maybe they're a good person. And you feel a sense of, I'm going to betray this person. I'm going to be a bad person by leaving this partner because this partner's been good to me. How can I do this to this person? Well, if you really feel strongly that you're not in love with that person, you free them from, being with somebody who really doesn't love them. It's much kinder to release that person so that they can find a person who they have a mutual love with, and not just, it's not selfish to leave somebody if you decide that you don't love them. It is selfish, I think, when people are unthinking about it. But if you feel really like, bad that you are not in love with your partner, and that maybe you even were attracted to them because they were very successful and that impressed you, forgive yourself, because this life is all about expansion, gaining more and more understanding about what we're here for, what resonates with us and what doesn't. And sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we allow ourselves to be blinded by superficial things, and we later regret them because we see that they are shallow, and that's good because it helps us to become deeper people. But that doesn't mean you have to stay in that mistake for the rest of your life in order to prove that you're not a bad person. So I realize it's easy for me to just, talk about this and make it sound like it's a breeze. I know it's not a breeze. And I personally do feel that it's sad if the other party gets hurt, because obviously that's not good either. But what can I say? It is what it is, isn't it? I know that sounds pretty cold, but these things do happen. And the more compassion and consciousness you bring to the situation, the better. What comes in is represented by the Judgment card. Again, so if this is a marital situation where there's a legal binding between two people, you may be thinking about taking legal recourse and dissolving a marriage, or whatever that relationship entails. You may even be consulting with some sort of mediator. In human resources, if you feel that you were wrongly cheated out of some kind of a promotion, or you were falsely promised something, and then at the 11th hour you were, betrayed in some way about it, that it was withdrawn and somebody else got what you were promised. I just thought about something. I said the 11th hour, meaning, the last minute. What do they say in Europe? Do they say the 23rd hour? Let me know if they do. I thought that's kind of interesting. So, because they have the 24-hour clock. So the Judgment card is also connected to Pluto, the planet Pluto, and to karma. So cause and effect, the boomerang effect. What you sow, so shall you reap. Or what another person has sowed, they will reap. So This is important too if you feel like you were wronged, Leo, because you may still feel a sense of loyalty, and at the same time you want to leave because you feel like you were screwed over. So the Judgment card is knowing that somebody else made their own bed. This isn't about vengefulness. This is about cause and effect, plain and simple. And it has nothing to do, I mean, obviously some people, they take pleasure in trying to get back at someone. And that's, to me, that's not the right way to go. But when you're taking legal action and there isn't malice attached to it, when you're really just trying to get your needs met because you feel like you have a legitimate reason to be angered by a promise that was broken, then you're doing it for the right reasons. You're not doing it to destroy anybody or to mess up their lives. You're just doing it because you're trying to get justice for you. The outcome is the Three of Swords. Now, the Three of Swords can mean heartbreak. It can mean rejection. So it's a possibility that you try to do something and are met with some kind of rejection of your plans. But I think in this particular position, this is talking about making a clean break. So in other words, if you are thinking of some kind of legal recourse at work, then it might actually be better for you just to leave and not to do that, unless there's something incredibly dishonest that was done to you or egregious. But see, my personal feeling is that in a workplace situation, they have the right to do whatever they want. And even if they favor someone, even if they break their promise, I think that they have the right to do that. I don't think that they have to cater to people on an even basis. It's their business, so I feel like they have the right to make decisions that they feel are good for them. And so suing, to me, is not something that I really like, because I think that it ties you to that, you know, it ties you to this place that you want to get away from. So this could be a card of like a clean break, but obviously that's just a general statement, not knowing everyone's particular situation. And the same thing with anything related to divorce, or if you're not married to the person. Let's say you have a partner who cheated on you and you're getting away from that person, because the Ten of Swords can be that you were betrayed and you need to just accept the fact that this happened. And there may be somebody that you are talking to, maybe you're not really in a relationship with them, and it's possible, it's very possible that if you were cheated on, that you're not interested in starting a new relationship, but you may have somebody who's interested in you. And the point being that the more you can just get away from an unhappy situation and don't, you know, do anything to drag it out, the better it will probably be for you, because you will be able to heal quicker. And the same thing if you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings and you try to kind of like let them down easy, that could just like drag things out. And I picked an additional card, and the Devil card is reminding you about what, you know, sometimes I can't remember, like, with the Devil card. It's compulsive behavior, but it's also obsessive behavior and addictions, so addictive tendencies. So this card is also connected to Capricorn, and when I talk about the King of Pentacles, that could be a Capricorn individual. So again, it's about materialistic nature, being overly materialistic, okay? And you may be reluctant to leave a relationship if it's offering you a cushy lifestyle. And you think, God, I'm going to have to step down back into this other lifestyle that's lower than what I used to have. And here you have this new love that may be coming in, and it's almost like you don't care because you're just thinking about the money or the loss of a particular lifestyle. And that, the reason I'm going to end there, because sometimes I'll just keep picking if I think, okay, the Devil card, I don't want to end on that. But the reason I'm going to end there is because sometimes it's very important as a card of warning that you may make the wrong choice if you don't have your spiritual consciousness together. If you're just focusing on your ego, and I'm not just picking on Leo for their ego, I'm saying anybody, when they live in a certain lifestyle, that can enhance a person's ego where they feel like they are the elite, you know, better than other people, and not in a malicious way, but just feeling a sense of specialness, or just a sense of comfort of not having to think about those things. But remember that there was something nagging within you. So whether this is staying on a job just because of the money, so it's almost like selling your soul, you know, selling your soul to the devil. There you go. And how that plays into your life. Let's pick one more card. No, you know what? Let's pick one of these cards from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. And let's see if we can get any further. The Andean Cross. I'll read what it says from the booklet. Because this is going to be more of a spiritual message. And let's see if it can give us any more insight. Okay, they go, the Andean cross represents the cosmology of the shaman. It depicts the four cardinal directions, the upper and lower worlds, and the steps to reach these realms. The hole in the center is a gateway to interdimensional travel. The proverbial eye of the needle. So it's like a portal. And you've probably seen this kind of shape of a cross. So, you know, I'm sure it's like South American Andes and related to the indigenous religions. The proverbial eye of the needle we can all go through to experience higher states of awareness and wisdom and to break free of linear time. And by the way, Leo, speaking of portals, the Lionsgate portal in, you know, 8/8 in, so it's August 8th, but I think it's like several days, you know, it's in your sign. So that's coming in August. The Andean cross announces the start to a great journey. It's time to raise your gaze from the mundane, from the mundane day-to-day to that which until now has seemed beyond your grasp. Allow new wisdom to guide you and stop trying to make sense of it all before you respond with a resounding yes. The time has passed and a window of opportunity is closed. Now is not the moment to take that leap you have been over-preparing for. It is best to wait, and that's what the hangman is saying from the spiritual perspective, until conditions in heaven line up again to offer you a more propitious moment. Any bold action you take now will require tremendous effort on your part. Just as important as knowing when to act is knowing when to return to your inner stillness and wait for more favorable times. And, you know, just taking this as a general message of guidance, I would definitely say if you have an important decision to make, Leo, in any area of your life, it's always wise to do as the hangman, which is just releasing the need to act. You know, I have found that to be so helpful. Like if you are really not sure about which direction to go in and you have an important decision to make, but it's not time sensitive, then just put it on the shelf for now and, and go inward, and stop trying to micromanage the conditions around it, and just let it go and trust that it will resolve itself. But you're still kind of doing inner work around it. So you're still really processing what's going on, sitting with it, not trying to distract yourself from, really absorbing what the issue is about. And sometimes people are a little bit too eager to talk about their problems with others, and sometimes that can just confuse you that much more, because it's your decision and nobody else is living your path, and they haven't come from where you've come from. Sometimes it's very helpful to kind of share what you're going through with others, but sometimes, especially when you have to make a decision, it can actually increase your confusion when you're dealing with other people's input, because they have their own agenda, and they also have their own conditioning. So anyway, I wish you the best of luck, and happy birthday to those of you who are born late in July. You're having your solar return. Yay. And if you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.